I stepped through the door of my childhood home, the familiar scent of stale coffee and old wood creeping into my lungs like a long-lost memory. I hadn't come back here in years, not since I packed my bags and fled the suffocating laughter of my family. Their jeers still echoed in my mind, mocking the path I'd chosen after the scandal. "You'll disgrace us," they said. "You're obsessed with ghosts and ghouls, with dark corners of the world best left untouched." But look at me now. I was no longer that fragile soul, but a recognized authority in haunted site residue forensics. My expertise had made me a pariah and a prophet, revealing truths that others were too terrified to confront. I was a warning, a testament to the horrors that lurked just beneath the surface of our reality. I barely had a chance to settle in before the confrontation began. My mother, her face pinched with disappointment, stood in the living room, arms crossed tightly over her chest. "You really think you can just waltz Mac in here after all this time?" she asked, voice dripping with disdain. My father, a shadow in the doorway, watched impassively, as if my return was a mere inconvenience. "Mom, Dad, You brought shame upon this family," she spat, cutting me off. "You've wasted years chasing after absurdities." The weight of her words pressed down on me. Shame? I had uncovered the very essence of fear, the residue of tragedy that lingered in haunted places. But they could never understand, would never grasp the darkness I had faced to bring these truths to light. "I'm not here to argue," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "I'm here to show you what I've learned. You need to see that." "You mean your delusions?" Ignoring his taunt, I reached into my bag and pulled out a small vial filled with a viscous, swirling substance that shimmered with an otherworldly glow. "This is residual ectoplasm I collected from a site in New Orleans after a particularly violent haunting. It proves the existence of something beyond our understanding, something that seeks permanence through fear." Their laughter was like a knife, but I steeled myself. You'll see just how real this is." I placed the vial on the coffee table, the warm glow illuminating the room like a beacon of dread. "You need to understand. There's more to this world than what we can see. You've mocked me for too long. Now it's time for you to witness the truth." My mother's face paled as I began my presentation, detailing the chemical compositions and the patterns I had uncovered in my years of research. I spoke of the stains left behind in the wake of violence, the ghostly fingerprints of sorrow and rage that haunted every corner, every abandoned building. I watched as their skepticism waned, replaced by an uneasy tension in the air. Then the lights flickered. "Just the old wiring," my father said, but his voice held an edge of uncertainty. "No," I insisted. "Listen." A low, mournful wail seeped through the walls, wrapping around us like a shroud. It was the sound of anguish, the echo of lives lost. My parents exchanged worried glances, disbelief cracking in their eyes. "Please, turn it off," my mother whispered, her voice trembling. I shook my head. "It's not me. It's here. It's always been here." The shadows in the room seemed to pulse, stretching and contorting as if alive. The air grew thick, suffocating, and I felt a chill race down my spine. The vial on the table began to vibrate, the ectoplasm swirling violently within, as if responding to the unseen force that had been awakened by my words. "Is this a joke?" my father demanded, but his bravado was fading fast. "No joke," I said, my heart racing. "This is what I've been trying to explain. This is what you mocked." Suddenly, the temperature dropped, and a figure emerged from the shadows, a ghastly specter. its hollow eyes boring into my family. It was a manifestation of all the pain and mockery they had heaped upon me, a living embodiment of their disbelief. My mother screamed, "Get it out of here!" My father bellowed, backing away, but there was nowhere to run. The specter glided toward them, a visage of regret and sorrow, its mouth opening in a silent scream that resonated through the very fabric of the house. I stood frozen, torn between my fear and the vindication of having finally proved my point. "This is the darkness that lingers, the truth you refuse to see," I whispered. As the apparition reached for them, my parents' faces twisted in terror. I could see the realization dawning in their eyes. This was the consequence of their ridicule, the price of their disbelief. With a final, anguished wail, the specter vanished, leaving behind an oppressive silence. My parents stood trembling, their illusions shattered, the shadows now a haunting reminder of my journey. "Please." My mother gasped, tears streaming down her face. "Forgive us." I looked at them, the weight of their past cruelty settling in my bones. "You mocked what you didn't understand, but now you know. This world is far darker than you ever imagined." As I gathered my things to leave, I felt a sense of resolution wash over me. I had returned not just to confront the demons of my past, but to show them the weight of their disbelief. Walking out the door, I glanced back one last time. The house stood silent, a mausoleum of lost dreams and shattered trust. My family would never be the same, haunted by the knowledge of what they had scorned. And I was free to carry the burden of the truth, to traverse the shadows, and to continue my work, forever marked by the horrors I had faced.